So you want to start a YouTube channel, but you have no idea what you want to talk about on your channel. Or maybe it's that you've already started your channel and it's not exactly getting the traction that you hoped for. Well, in today's episode, we're going to talk about a subject known as picking a niche, or niching down, whatever you want to call it. It is believed that here on YouTube, picking a niche is without a doubt the best way to grow your influence here on this platform. So in today's episode, we are going to talk about what a niche is and how you can use picking a niche to grow your business or channel here on YouTube. Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Jay and welcome to my channel here on YouTube where I help you build and grow your influence and brand here on YouTube. So let's talk niche, or maybe it's niche. I don't know, whatever. So in a nutshell, a niche is a topic or category. Essentially, it would be the overall focus point for your YouTube channel. It could range anywhere from, let's say, like a lifestyle channel if you want to talk about makeup. Let's say you want to do prank channels, or you want to just go ahead and talk about mental health. Anything like that would be considered an overall niche. Now, there are pros and cons to picking a niche that some would argue. We're going to talk about it later on in the video. But when it comes to actually picking a niche, it is beneficial for your channel, especially when you're starting out. And I'll explain why. You see, it is both organically and technically good for your channel. Organically being that you do have to find an audience or tribe. If you don't already come to YouTube with some type of clout or some type of popularity, you kind of be able to bring people into the channel. And then technically there is something called the YouTube algorithm. Basically, it's a computer inside YouTube that determines whether it's going to promote your video to certain people, also look at who's actually liking your videos, watching, and engaging in your actual content. Usually when people think about starting a YouTube channel, more often than not, they were probably inspired in some way or another by a bigger name here on the platform. Now, technically there's nothing wrong with that, but the issue is they want to be like a Casey Neistat, a Mr. Beast, a David Dobrik, and they want to post literally whatever they want. But unfortunately, you can't do that. And this is why niching down is so important. When you niche down, like I said, you can find your tribe, but also you do want to be able to bring value to people, and that's what pushes you here on the channel. Now, that also in a lot of ways on the technical sense with Google and how you get paid, there's something called a CPM rate. That is determined by your topics you talk about on YouTube. We'll talk about that on another day with another video. But my point is, guys, you want to be able at the end of the day to get subscribers and views. That's why you're here on the platform if you're using YouTube to grow your influence or business. If you don't have that, you really don't have anything because you don't have reach. You can't get sponsors. You can't get any of that stuff that you've always dreamed about. The only way to really get, let's say, subscribers and to get consistent views is to niche down and be able to attract the same type of people over to the platform. And if you can do that, that's how you're going to be able to grow, and that's how you're eventually going to get to a point where you can talk about whatever you want. Because truth be told, and this is a hard truth that people don't really want to think about, when you start on YouTube, like I said, unless you already have clout from somewhere else, or if you're already famous, which I seriously doubt, chances are nobody cares about who you are. And I mean that in the nicest way. It's just the straight up truth at the end of the day. You have to be able to build by giving people some type of value and making them want to return back to the channel. So a big common misconception that I hear from a lot of people that do dream of building an influence here on this platform is that the desired niche that they want to get into is too saturated. Guys, understand this. Saturation just means that there is a market. There is already an audience for those topics that you want to talk about. And if you can get in there, you'll be able to make all the money that you want. You'll be able to get the sponsors. You'll be able to get everything that you wanted out of that specific niche. That is a good thing. All you have to do is figure out how to stand out, which, to be honest with you, I'm not going to lie, it can be easier said than done. But once you figure out how to do it, it becomes a very, very profitable thing for you, if money is what you're looking for, or if you're actually looking for a success in that area. Now, one trick that I found out works pretty well, and it actually did help me build my channel to what it is, my other YouTube channel, The Ship Life, that has almost 44,000 subscribers in a year and a half, was finding the niche within a niche. That's just a little spin that I want to put on the word, guys. The niche within the niche, meaning if you have let's say a category that you want to talk about, you maybe want to find like a subcategory in order to get yourself started. Like, for example, I love traveling. I believe the world would be a better place if everybody traveled. However, if I got on YouTube and just started talking about, let's say, all around general travel, going to Europe and whatnot, there's already a million people on the platform that are talking about that same subject with a bigger influence than I have. So what did I do? We just go ahead and scale down. What's next? We could talk about planes. I ended up talking about cruise ships, right? But even going deeper, instead of just cruise ships, I was working on board a cruise ship. So I started talking about what it's like working on board cruise ships. Now, at the time, I was one of the few people in the entire world on that space that was consistently talking about it. So I was able to capitalize on that. I learned as much as I could, and I kind of grew with the channel. But literally right out of the gate with my first video, I already had thousands and thousands of views. So I was able to capitalize. Now you can do the same. Like I said, you just got to find the niche within the niche. So another overlooked issue that people run across when picking a niche is that they take things a little too strict. They're too literal when it comes to using that said niche. Let's say, for example, Black Panther over here. Let's say I do a full dedicated channel on Black Panther. There's obviously a million things that we could talk about, but the problem is that people just stick to that one little piece or element within that specific niche. Let's say I just do a channel and I only talk about the costume, and I say, oh, why isn't my YouTube channel growing? Well, maybe you can change the formula up. Maybe instead of talking about just the costume of Black Panther, you could talk about Chadwick Boseman. You could talk about the history of the costumes. You could talk about the history of Wakanda. There's a million things you could talk about. You could change the format of your actual videos. Once you play around with that, because honestly, if you're new starting a channel, it is literally the best time to just experiment and play around, talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You could talk about all this stuff, and then you finally find out what catches traction. What gets, let's say that one video just happens to pop off and gets a lot of views. With you playing around within your niche, you're able to solidify exactly where you're supposed to be going, and then you can find out what's enjoyable for you as well along the way. Because if you get too literal with your niche, you could potentially burn out. Burn out meaning you will get tired of just talking about that one thing, right? So you want to have a plan to scale. Let's say if you're starting a business, right? If you start talking about Black Panther, you don't want to just talk about Black Panther for years and years and years and years, right? You can use Black Panther to scale. Right? Once you catch some traction in an area around Black Panther, you can start talking about, again, the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and then talk about all the cartoons, talk about all the movies. Now, this is just a small idea, guys. I'm not trying to say this is the only way to do it, but you can do the same thing with makeup. You can do the same thing with hair. You can do the same thing with pranks. There's a lot of ways to grow here on YouTube, but like I said, I do believe that niching down is indeed the best way. But anyway, guys, that is all I have to say on the video. I do hope you guys found this wow, I can't even talk today. Informative or helpful in some kind of way. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a like. If you have any questions, you want any tips or anything like that, I will leave my contacts in the description box below. So make sure you guys check it out. This is only my, third video. I'm still new on the channel. We're almost at 200 subscribers. So let's keep it going, guys. I really appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you probably Friday. I'm trying to do at least 2 videos a week, and we're going to go from there. I hope you guys are all doing well. I'll see you soon. Take care.